because he has retail rating night on Saturdays.
Well, that sucks. Tell him to quit that game.
Well, like back when we were doing BFA, like when we were rating in retail, it was like Saturday afternoons, which was great. But now it's Saturday nights, like 7 to 10. So he won't be done for another hour. Just let me know when you're on Twitch and I'll give it a listen.
I'm
We'll
on
just
Twitch.
Get started. No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
Not on my Twitch. Hey,
your
hey,
Twitch
hey,
is
hey.
slow.
Woo-hoo. It says you're online now.
Do you guys miss Donald Trump? What
No.
a great leader.
All right, I'm going to get levels. Turn Discord off. All right, this is John talking at his normal volume and distance from the microphone, and then Matt and then TJ.
This is Radical 80s Matt talking right now. How's it going?
And this is TJ using the computer mic because I don't have my lav with me.
Okay, Matt was way louder than me. And I feel like I was also too loud, but let me... Fuck. Sound settings. Yep. Okay. All right, this is John at the volume that has been adjusted, and then Matt, and then TJ.
John sounds the same to me. Now TJ.
TJ also here. What the fuck? I don't know.
Matt, you're like almost twice as loud as both TJ and I.
Okay.
Yeah, just that in your obs. Because you sound fine to us.
Why would that be? Test.
Just OBS.
Oh.
OBS pulls your audio separate from the rest of us.
I don't know why you're so much louder, but you are way louder.
It's... Yeah, hold on. I just have to mute this.
All right, this is John now. I think Matt may have fixed it, and then Matt, you go. John, now I can't hear Matt at all. And his mouth is moving, so...
That's what Matt is saying now.
Well, by the time we get this figured out, Spanky will be here. Ooh.
I figured it out. Give me a second.
Can see Matt's
testing. Okay.
Switch into your... Hey, this sounds much better.
Yeah.
All right. This is John talking, and then let's do Matt and then TJ.
It's your boy, Matt. The correct volume this time.
And I did something too.
Okay. I think we sound good now. I'm going to switch off Discord, or switch back to Discord audio off of Twitch. All right. I can hear you guys now. Live.
Hi,
much
John.
better.
Loud, live, and independent.
Let me go grab a drink.
Oh, shit.
I just finished mine, and then we'll get started.
Yeah, I got to grab a towel.
It's because he came all over his table.
It's just me here now.
Andrew Dick.
What the fuck?
And repeat it.
It is fine. Everything is fine. I'm not on the verge of a breakdown. I swear. I swear, that's you. It's you. You're on the verge of a breakdown. All of you. Because it's definitely not me. Matt, welcome back.
You know, I feel welcome.
I mean, someone's got to welcome you. Might as well be me. Sorry, I like looking at your squares, Brady Bunch style. It's what I do. Or Hollywood Squares style. Shut the fuck up, John.
Yeah, John. You fucking jerk bag.
You're ruining your wife's TikTok career. She's never going to monetize now. Oh, so that wasn't just my end where Matt went gray.
No, I'm trying to. I'm bypassing Snapchat because it's just like tanking my frame rate too much for some reason.
It is. It's pretty bad. I mean, how's my frame rate? Am I coming through good? I look fine.
Yeah, it
on my
looks
end,
fine. Hey, ho.
Welcome back, Mansoor Rowe.
Welcome, Donald Trump.
Nice to see you.
Donald J. Trump. Just singing Schmo Yoho songify this.
About your favorite glorious leader.
Former glorious leader.
I only know the old Schmo Yoho stuff. Accent on the yo.
Oh, Schmo Yoho! All right, are we ready?
Yeah, might as well be.
Ooh, something popped up on the screen.
Those my browser windows.
It's your 3-month sub anniversary.
What?
I don't know what your popped up. Oh, 4 months. Sorry, it's only my 2-month. I didn't share it.
Share it.
Take that, Matt.
I will. I'll take your $2 or whatever.
$2.50.
$2.50.
I'm gonna need about
All right.
$2.50.
Are you ready to start?
Let's
Episode
start.
422.
422, blaze it.
Welcome to Born in the 80s, episode 422. I'm joined by my co-hosts,
Your co-host, Matt Haig.
TJ May. And
TJ
our host
Moneybags, man.
and our host who doesn't have a name apparently.
Right, TJ?
You didn't introduce yourself.
His name
I'm
is John.
John
You all know that by now.
John Danger.
Whatever. Why
TJ,
am I
though,
Moneybags?
the GameStop stock you've had, obviously, for when you work there, it's got to be worth millions.
It's gotta be worth millions. No, I've been hedging on it, so I gotta pay these exorbitant amounts.
Oh, you shorted your
I
GameStop
shorted
stock.
Yeah.
You're one of those hedge funds. Oh, that's good. I'm assuming you didn't have any GameStop stock, though, huh?
No, I didn't.
They don't give stock to store managers.
And plus, I was broke when it was cheap,
I see.
so that would have been good to like throw like $100 in to get, back when it was $4 a share when it got me 25 shares.
Yeah.
Would have been so nice.
But
I wanted to just like buy $10 worth or whatever, but it's taking forever to get my like money transferred to E-Trade approved because I've never traded stocks before. But this has all the hallmarks of when I bought Bitcoin just after the huge like bump. I'm gonna get on there.
well, I definitely would not be buying GameStop right now because it's at like 325, and I don't think it's probably going to go much higher than that.
I just want to help fuck over hedge fund managers, John.
I mean, if you want to do that,
about the
that's
money.
fine. That's totally fine. I mean, I guess we kind of have to talk about this, right?
I don't really understand it, so somebody can explain to me how the stock market works.
I could probably explain it to you. Let me see if I can find a written. I just want to see if I can find a written explanation because I want something to read off of.
So you can blame them. I didn't
Well,
get it
no,
wrong.
just because
The
if I'm going
written
to say it off my
explanation.
head, I want to have something to refer to. All right, so like TJ said, it was like $4 like a year ago. So I don't know if anyone knows. This is probably by the time this episode comes out. Spanky! I got to redo the audio.
No, it's fine. We'll pick it up on the fly.
Yeah, that's true. You guys talk amongst yourselves. Everyone else is mixed correctly. We just need to make sure Spanky is.
That's true.
I'm going to listen. Spanky, you got to talk, though.
Spanky, you got to talk, though.
Do I?
Sounds
I would
perfect.
hope so. It's quiet for me, but that might just be my mix.
Yo, Mix!
So he's just not going to talk.
No, I'm not going to talk.
Spanky, talk in your normal volume.
I am
For
talking
fuck's
in my normal
sake.
volume.
He's 20 seconds behind. He's listening to the Twitch. It's fine. He'll get it later.
John, 20
He's
seconds
exactly right.
behind, like an
I'm
asshole.
more behind. I actually missed that. I didn't hear that insult because I muted the Twitch stream. So,
I see.
all right, now I can hear you. We were just
Hi,
about to
John.
we were just about to explain the GameStop stock to Matt.
Okay. I can explain it real well.
No, you can't. You specifically said you didn't know how to explain it.
I can explain it real well.
All I know,
I
it has
like
something to do with people having diamond hands. That's what I know. That's
I don't
where
know
I'm at.
about that.
Diamond hands. No paper hands. Only diamond hands.
So I can explain it only because I learned how fucking shorting stock worked way back in high school.
Well, I've seen The Big Short, which is also about shorting stocks, but particularly the ridiculous mortgage market back in the early 2008.
I followed Wall Street Bets subreddit for about a day before I realized that they're all fucking terrible. And I had
Yeah,
to
there was
unfollow.
I set up a stock alert for Nintendo Switches and got one for Matt over the summer. That's how my
Mike!
stock worked.
Yeah.
Spanky's holding his cat. And he's very cute. Okay, so here we go. I found the best explainer. Somebody tweeted this. I wanted to find this because it's pretty easy. Just explaining what shorting is as well as what's happening. So, like, you know how stocks work. You buy a stock that's a share in a company. The company does better. More people buy the stocks or want to buy the stocks. So the price of the stocks go up because they're more in demand. Supply and demand, buy low, sell high. Pretty easy. But a thing that a lot of, so, like when you play like craps, you can play like the
Yes.
money line, and then there's like 8 billion side bets.
Yeah.
The stock market also has 8 billion side bets that you can do. You can do all sorts of like options, margin calls, and all sorts of crazy shit. Just like, honestly, the stock market's literally gambling. But
Yeah,
we'll get to that.
Is
The
there
shorting-
any relation between a stock price and like the performance of that company,
Yes.
or is it just completely separate?
Performance,
No.
no. Value, yes.
Okay, so
It's-
for instance, if let's say
Isn't
Apple's-
performance and value the same thing though?
no,
No.
So
For example, Apple has got like crazy value,
Mhm.
and they make like 3 products, and they're not like anywhere in the market share for PCs or in like phone operating systems like their competitors are.
well, not even just Apple, but like the idea is if Apple iPhone, whatever, what's next? 10, 14?
13
What?
maybe?
Okay, whatever the next iPhone is, that comes out that nobody bought it and they suck and everything's that, their stock price will go down because people are like, well, I don't know, Apple's really fucking up lately. I don't know if they're going to be worth more. I mean, like stocks are literally just gambling because you're just buying a share in a company.
You
and
kind
then
of have
you
to
want-
go way back to what stocks used to actually be.
Yeah,
So a stock, like when you had a share in a company, you
It's a
actually
share.
had,
You
I
own part of the
a
company.
percentage of a company.
yes.
Okay. like 1 out of 10,000 of a company, so 0.01 of a company
Yes.
with this one share, and I could sell my rights back to the company if I wanted to. But those values, at least at the time,
Yeah.
when you were doing it direct with the company and not
Yeah.
through this outside market,
Yeah.
you would be invested in the company,
Mhm.
and then when you sold, with your stock, and when you sold it back, you would get that percentage of the company's worth
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
But then what happened is you now can own a piece of the company.
That's what
And
it's important to note, that like owning a stock is you own part of the company if you own
Yep.
stock.
And you can
But
own
it's
part
such a
of the
small
Green Bay
amount.
Packers too if you want.
That's not the same. But because their stocks are special in the fact that they specifically say that they confer no ownership rights to people that purchase them.
So,
But like a stock is a share in a company. So like for instance, if you were to buy like 8 billion GameStop stocks and own 51% of all of the stocks, you would be able to control the company. And that's kind of how hostile takeovers in companies happen. Because then you'll control more seats on their board of directors and voting for the company.
Yeah.
Because it's technically ownership.
I
like
have
you own
seen
part of the company.
in movies, like if somebody wants to do that, they like have to buy it through shell companies so that like people don't realize that they're trying to get a controlling share until they already do.
Yeah, because so like if you wanted to do that and be nefarious, you could be like, oh, this XYZ holding company is buying like a ton of shares, and the companies sell shares because they want to make money so they can buy stuff and build things.
So the holding companies and brokers is what turned into what's now called the stock market.
Correct.
Now, you're not actually buying and selling directly back to the rights of the company to and from the company. You're now switching shares back and forth between people. And at this point, you're talking about apparent value. You're talking about, okay, I have a stock and someone's willing to buy it for $57. Someone else is willing to buy it for $58. I can sell it always to the highest bidder.
Yeah,
and
correct.
You then get into now how everything is done with bots now, but
that's really important to note. Yeah,
is back then you would actually have to find a buyer that had and the highest someone is willing to pay for a stock is what the value would show up on the market. This has nothing to do with the financial performance of the company anymore. It's now just what people are willing to invest in it.
It's somewhat related.
There's a correlation.
It is not complete. It is not 100% tied. But
because you're not buying it from the company anymore.
I would say originally stocks, whenever people gave back in the day, when people bought a share of a company, it allowed that company to do better. And that part of like the relationship is gone. They still go down in price when they do poorly, but now it's more reactive. Like the stock price is reactive to their performance, whereas before, their stock price was related to how they could perform in the future.
Well, and that has a lot to do with what TJ is saying, is that when you sell a share, you're selling it to someone else who's buying it at the price. So when a company does worse, people are like, well, this company's not doing so well, so I'm not going to pay as much for a share. And that's why the prices go down. And so that it's somewhat tied to that. But then you see what's happening with Tesla and what's happening with GameStop and AMC to a lesser degree, is that people will just go on like crazy buying sprees. Like everyone wants to own part of Tesla because Tesla's got this brand new technology, and people are like kind of believing the cult of Elon Musk because that company is nowhere near worth the value of its stock. It just doesn't make enough vehicles.
They're a good company in terms of like I always talk about my Pebble smartwatch.
They're future proofed, I guess. The company they're looking towards the future of infrastructure. You see all the other car companies following after them, so people want to own part of it because they think they're going to be a big part of the future, so they want to get in now. But that's kind of how
I consider them to be like my Pebble smartwatch, where like they were the first ones to make a smartwatch that operated the way that most smartwatches do now. And now that you've got Android Gear and Apple Watch, basically followed the format of the cheapo Pebble watch. But Pebble got bought out really early on in the whole smartwatch revolution. And while Tesla may not, I really don't know if they can ever compete. I mean, it would be crazy to think of Tesla like competing on a level with something so ingrained in our infrastructure as like GM, once GM and Ford and all that switched to fully.
I mean, you see all those companies, GM, Ford. I think it was GM said that 2035, they're not going to be making. Their plan is not to be making any more combustion vehicles.
Yeah.
So it is going to go that way, which makes sense.
Well, heavy duty trucks and industrial
consumer vehicles will no longer be, because there's no reason to.
Well, you see, I'm in Missouri, so consumer is heavy duty trucks. Because you have to make up for the size of your penis or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. So the higher your truck off is from the ground, the bigger your dick is what I've learned.
Yeah. So the more that your truck could theoretically pull, even though you've never hooked it up to anything in your life, the bigger your dick is.
Mm-hmm.
The more descended your asshole. No. So at the end of the day, what you see for value of a stock now is what people are currently willing to pay. It's the apparent value from people who want to buy these stocks. So
that's why it's a little bit like gambling, because it doesn't really matter how the company's doing. It's how much people want to pay for a share of the company. So even if the company's doing bad, you might still want to buy shares because you think it's a small blip and you want to get in still.
So since these broker agencies hold stocks for people to buy, people to sell, that way they're always acting as a third party in this. They thought, what's another way for them to be able to make money?
Yep.
And what they're like is like, well, what if we could let people bet that that the stock is going to go down? I'm holding this stock, whether it's holding the stock for this person who's already bought it or holding it for sale for later. Why don't I go ahead and lend someone who I say through their credit or whatnot is credible enough? I'm going to lend them stock. And they will sell it, and they'll get the value for that sale. And then they have X number of hours or days.
30 days, let's say.
30 days, let's say, to buy stock to cover what they've already sold to give back to me. So my amount of stock stays the same. And if they sell,
it's basically like a loan.
First,
like I'm gonna give you these shares. You do whatever you want with them, but in 30 days I need those shares back. And so short companies are like, oh, I'll sell it for 10 because I know 30 days from now this stock's only going to be worth like 8. And so I'll just buy all the shares back at 8 and then pocket the difference. Like 10 shares, so they make, what is it? If you bought 10 shares at $10 a piece, that's $100. And then, all right, I'm going to sell them, make 100, and they're $8 a piece. So I need 10 shares. I'll spend $80, and I made $20. That's what they're doing.
And the weird thing about short, like when you buy a stock, there is technically no ceiling for how high a company could be valued in the future. So you do have infinite potential, but you could also just lose what you put in there.
Yep.
If you sell first because you're shorting now in a short position, if the stock keeps going up, you could infinitely lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, so like, let's say at 30 days, the stock, so let's say GameStop was trading at about $16 a share. And you're like, you know what? GameStop's a crap company. People buy video games on the internet now. We don't need GameStop anymore. I'm going to short them and say 30 days from now, their stock's probably going to be only worth $14. And we'll buy hundreds of thousands of shares and then we'll make a bunch of money. And then Reddit happens.
Well, even before this, I mean, Reddit's been around for a while, and Wall Street Bets as well.
It's been around for a while. So I just want to point this out. So I actually like to go to Reddit for like investing advice and looking stuff. I go to r/investing. That's like the more normal traditional investing. Wall Street Bets is insane. It is just about like
4chan.
People. It is. It's people it's literally people posting receipts of, look I bought 500 shares of this stock this morning, and at 7:00 this evening I cashed out and made $2,000. Here's my receipt. Or like I just lost $4,000. It's just insane day trading, like the gambling part.
It's like the salty bet of investing. Well, anyway, someone who worked for one of these hedge funds, which is a place that specializes in short sells, had mentioned, I don't know if it was on the subreddit, but the subreddit got a hold of this. Holy fuck, we got a lot of...
It wasn't that. So,
okay.
Just like everything with the stock market, you heard of insider trading. Insider trading is when you make stock sales or purchases based on information that isn't available to the public.
Yep.
So this happens all the time. it's really hard to track this because
It's
let's just say
illegal.
Exactly. So let's just say some guy who works at a company is like, hey man, we're going to release this new thing pretty soon. It's going to be great. And you buy stock, that's insider trading. Like, because you can only trade on what the public's supposed to know. So a lot of these companies, I don't know if this hedge fund works this way, but they have to make all their
2020.
Yeah.
But they make all their deals.
But no, TJ, that's not insider trading. That's just something that's okay right. for politicians to do.
Exactly. That's true. That's a very good point. That's something that people wanted to bring up because that was Kelly Loeffler all of a sudden learned something and then sold a bunch of stocks. It's a gray area because that technically wasn't anything to do with the particular stock in itself, but it's still really fucking greasy. But like the idea is everything has to be publicly known. So a lot of these hedge funds have to put because if you are paying for them or you have some money that gets used in a hedge fund, they have to post where their money is basically. So people know, so it's public. And so somebody on Redditor, or it says a Redditor on r/Wall Street Bets, noticed that there was this hedge fund called Melvin Capital.
Melvin, yep.
Melvin Capital had put a massive amount of short trades against GameStop. And they were like, dude, fucking GameStop's cool. This hedge fund's an asshole because shorting stocks is like a dick move. Because it's like betting that a company's going to do worse. When the most of the stock market is, I want to buy the companies that are going to be making me money in the future. Yeah. Whereas shorts is I want to make money off of failure in companies. And so it's kind of like a dick thing to do. And a lot of people that are into shorting stocks are real assholes or will complain about Redditors using their government money and bitch about being boomers saying terrible shit on CNBC's TV broadcasts.
And then that just fuels the fire even more.
Exactly. Because, it's the rich elite, basically, the people that have insane amounts of money are betting that a company, ostensibly, that a lot of Redditors like or remember liking as children. I like GameStop. I can buy games. GameStop's cool. We don't want it to fail. And so they're like, hey, if we all just buy GameStop because, we have thousands of people, the shares are $20-$30 a piece, everyone buys 10-15 shares, we can do this. And they did, basically, and they wanted to make the price rise as much as they could so the hedge funds would lose billions. So I think a couple of different hedge funds, I know at least Melvin Capital was going to be losing about $4 billion and they closed out their short position early because I think they were smart enough to see the tide going like crazy, and they already closed out. But there's lots of different companies that were doing this as well. I think they would have actually also gone into bankruptcy, but they got a cash infusion from a parent company. So it's just they just lost tons of money, but it's hard to say. It's not like they lost money because that money is still around. You know what I mean? It's not like it went to the fucking dealer. It's just the broker that they bought it from is getting that money back now. You know what I mean? It's just funny. I love it. You just love to see it. It's just basically people fucking over big companies is what's happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the Robinhood stock app fucking was doing some weird shit where because people use this app called Robinhood on their phones, which allows you to do stock trades.
Oh, by the way, on the Reddit mobile app, tons of Robinhood ads today. They're pumping money into that shit.
Yeah, and Robinhood's it's actually a pretty nice platform because it's really cheap to do stock trades compared to your typical brokerage accounts, which are usually $8 or $9 a trade, which is a lot if you're only buying 10 shares. That's a lot of money per trade. Whereas I think Robinhood's free or really close to free. We're talking cents.
Some very light fees here.
Yes,
and there.
very, very light fees to run that. So that's why people like it. It had some issues. There was some question about when they stopped people from being able to buy shares. I think when this was skyrocketing and people were complaining it was market manipulation because the companies they're trying to fuck over, hedge fund companies, had time to get out before people were able to buy more stock and rise the price even higher. But I was actually reading about that we'll see, because I know that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and I think Elizabeth Warren and a bunch of the other Democrats were talking about how they want to review this and make sure there wasn't anything.
And Ted Cruz.
Well,
yeah, don't forget friend of the working
and
man,
Donald
Ted
J. Trump
Cruz.
Jr. Was also in. Well, because this is something that Republicans are paying lip service to.
Yeah,
if not
it hits the
hits the common man.
It hits the free market rhetoric of Republicans.
Correct.
So that
libertarian free market overall, fucking thing, as well as Democratic people saying everyone should have the same access to everything. So I was reading about this, and this has something to do with what TJ was saying, is that the reason why they were restricting sales of GameStop stock is because they didn't have enough money to pay for the shares through their brokerage account because it was selling so much. Because it's like TJ said, it's not like it's like actually you have to buy a share from someone. You know what I mean? And people were buying them so fast they didn't have enough shares to sell, which is why this what they say. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, we'll see. But it makes sense because like a TD Ameritrade and a bunch of other places also stopped because there was just a run on stocks. Like, it was so popular, they couldn't find the shares to give to people that were buying them because people were trying to buy them. And you have to buy them off someone, who's selling. So it was just kind of like a situation where it was going crazy. It seems to have stabilized somewhat. I think it was like fucking PS5s. Everybody wanted one. And then they started limiting. Well, you can buy 1 or 2 shares now. A day, instead of like that. So
now again, this rise in value of GameStop is not actually indicative. Mm-hmm. It's indicative of people's value of the company, but it's not indicative of GameStop still doing well right now.
It is incredibly good for GameStop though, because now they have, because since they own tons of shares themselves, because they have to own at least 51% of their shares to own their company, they could sell some of their shares for a lot now and make money to spend on stuff.
That happened specifically with AMC, where they were like, "Oh shit, now we can sell this and like pay off this
literally
huge
exactly
debt
what
that was going to kill us."
With AMC, is that they were able to sell some shares off and cover some of their debts that were going to so they may actually survive COVID-19 because of this. Because they were that, which is funny because
I'm a Marcus Theaters man.
I was about to say I don't really love AMC theater chains, but
yeah, I don't either. I'm a big Alamo Drafthouse fan.
I like our local. I like their
TV channel though sometimes. So there's that.
I don't think they own that anymore.
No, probably not.
So anyway, I just think it's like. I just think it's really funny. It was funny because my dad texted me about this because he's like a big stockhead. He was just like, "Oh, this is crazy," and I was like, "Yeah, I know. You always tell me no. Buying individual stocks are insane.
Yeah,
because it is just so risky.
Now,
because it could go up, it could go down. It's gambling.
There's another side to this where a lot of people who are holding stock still are being pressured to sell.
Yeah.
From a lot of quote unquote powers that be.
Well, I saw that like the hedge funds are able to like rapidly trade back and forth to artificially like make it seem like the price is going down, and they were doing that to like try and scare people into selling.
I actually I think it's just so good though, because like I was looking at a poster here. There's this 10-year-old girl in San Antonio who I guess on her birthday or for Christmas, her parents gave her 10 shares of GameStop at $6.90 for a Kwanzaa gift, basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Made like a little like certificate saying like, hey, you want a game console now, but we're going to give you shares. You'll learn how to like do what is it? 7 principles of Kwanzaa to like learn about being cooperative and being smart with your resources. and now the kid's like, well, guess what? I now have $3,200 in shares and I can help pay for college.
Yeah.
And
I was going to say that's like, I mean,
it's awesome.
With a little bit of financial assistance, that could be a whole 4 years of college. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just so heartwarming to see all these stories of, or people on Wall Street Bets talking about like, I bought GameStop like early on when people were tipping this and it was like 25. I just sold all my shares at 350. I can now pay off this knee surgery that I've had bills for. It's like, this is awesome.
So
like,
John, here's the important question. What's the next thing?
Go on Wall Street Bets and find out. I would say, so they've kind of pushed, now Wall Street Bets is pushing fucking Dogecoin and other fucking cryptos. And at that point, I'm like, okay, this is crypto stocks are, no thanks. That's a little too crazy for me.
Crypto's like, man, I feel like the stock market just isn't like not real and confusing enough for me. I want it to be more risky.
Well, that's it. It's like crypto is like, I want the stocks to be more volatile. So I can have bigger swings of money. But at this point, like crypto is stabilized enough where like Bitcoin is pretty stable. Ethereum's a little bit less stable, but now it's like, all right, we got to find a new coin that's not stable that we can like pump a bunch into and make money off of.
I put $50 a couple weeks ago into Bitcoin, so I have 1/8 of 1% of a Bitcoin. Right now.
Nice. I mean, like that's the worst. One of the worst decisions I ever made was in 2010 not buying Bitcoin because people were talking about it. And like I was like, I could just buy a Bitcoin. They're like $400. I buy a Bitcoin. And now they're like, what, 16,000 or something?
34,032.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, oh, man. But it's like, how can you ever predict that? Hindsight is always 20/20. It's the same thing with the market. Like, it could have gone away and I would have lost $400.
No one to this day can explain to anybody what a Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is that makes any sense at all outside of, I put money in it and I get money back. That's like, no one. I can explain the technology. I don't understand why it makes money. Other people can explain why it makes money, but not understand the technology.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get into that explanation now, but it's pointless. It has to do with encryption.
It existed originally as like a way to do transactions of information and currency outside of like basically as an international way to do it outside.
Well, it's meant to be like fully encrypted across the way.
And now you've got like on your tax forms that ask you if you bought Bitcoin, and it's basically just fucking another thing that like is controlled by the banks and governments now.
Like all those space lasers.
Jewish space lasers. Anyway, so I would look on if you're interested in getting in on this. Why not? You can spend a little bit of money and see. I mean, that's the thing.
I wanted to just spend $10 to help keep the price going up.
The best thing I ever one of the best things I read about this is treat it like if you went on a trip to Vegas, only throw in money that you're okay with losing, and then you'll never be sad. You'd be like, I put $100 in. 2 years from now, it's like, it's only worth like 60 now. I lost $40. I had fun.
I'm not even okay with losing the price of a plane ticket to go to Las Vegas. So,
I mean, like, but the idea is that if you're into that, feel free to spend money, and have some fun.
I kept telling John that I'm too poor to do the stock market, and that's only for rich people.
Anyway, I would say the stocks would be to look at. I'm trying to think like AMC Entertainment. That's the movie chain, right? Yep.
Yeah. So like, there's so many bots like crawling through r/Wall Street Bets and just like recording mentions of certain stocks and then using that to like.
Well, it's because they understand now, the power of the retail investor. Like, it's just. I think part of it is, part of this will die down because I think the biggest thing with GameStop was to fuck over these hedge funds that were shorting a company.
Yeah. I miss in the 90s when you would see like the stock market and it would be all these people in colorful blazers yelling at each other. And now it's just computers doing that. I don't know if the computers are wearing blazers, but I like to think so.
No, they wear top hats and monocles. That's it.
Here's a thought. I'm going to give a stock tip right now. I would look into Chewy.com.
I think at the end of every one of these sentences, you have to say not financial advice.
Okay.
John, I don't like eating dog food, though.
This is not financial advice. The only reason I say that is because Chewy.com is that online pet product company very, very similar to pets.com, which was part of the original stock market bubble in the early 2000s.
What a great URL, though. They really lucked out on that one.
Yeah, it was originally a Chewbacca porn site, but they bought it off of them.
No, I was talking about pets.com. All those like original one where you could just get like a word.
I know.
Now everything's clownfart.sex.
So
hey, I got hemsworthfeet.world. That must have been highly sought after.
Yeah, I'm surprised we got that one.
So Chewy.com was actually
sold. One that I have that's actually cool is Wario.world.
Nice. Eventually Nintendo's just gonna be like, we'll take that.
Actually, I don't even know.
You're gonna buy it for me? No.
Is Chewy to even have like stock? Is it even traded? Let me see here. No, Chewy has its own stock.
Let's see.
So
who bottles this ginger beer that I like?
Though they might not be traded, though. I mean, private companies don't have
Cock
to be.
And Bull. Cock and Bull ginger beer.
The only reason why I say Chewy is because
Cock.
They got sold to PetSmart. They're now a division of PetSmart.
Oh, here's another one. Here's Matt's not a financial advice tip.
Okay.
We have a Democratic president right now. Buy stock in gun companies. Sales
that's not a bad point, actually.
Under Democratic presidencies, gun sales always go through the roof because everyone's afraid they're going to take them away.
What's really interesting...
I mean, you should buy them under Trump and then...
Yeah.
But the thing is you have to buy them before the election.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's right.
You're really hedging your stock buying on...
Well, I heard this election's not over yet. So
the lasers, the Rothschild bankers, space lasers are gonna assist the military.
I think you know what's really funny. I think Anderson Cooper is a Rothschild. He's from some like super rich family, like, and I don't think it's the Rockefellers or anything.
His mother was an actress. I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name. Gloria Vanderbilt.
Oh, was it the Vanderbilts? Okay.
I got an explainer for you.
That's what Wikipedia is telling me. Is Gloria Vanderbilt.
Diamond hands.
What the fuck is the diamond hands?
Diamond hands is a phrase employed in emoji form by our Wall Street Bets and contributors. It's similar to what you would call balls of steel.
Yeah, it's
that's
like
people who have diamond hands or unscratched.
You're gonna hold on to this thing no matter what.
Exactly. Paper hands will get all cut up and lose it. So you need to have
I was in a World of Warcraft raid earlier, and they were talking about hands for like different like the boss strategies or something like that. I couldn't understand what the fuck they were talking about. So that this is apparently like morphed its way into general conversation outside of Wall Street Bets.
Yeah, it's like at least Reddit as a whole now is all stocks. Like they've just taken over Reddit, and it's like much the way Trump being elected like injected pop culture into or injected politics into like normal pop culture stuff. Like that's happening with the stock market now.
Mm-hmm. So another thing, 420.69. This is a novelty price at which many r/Wall Street Bets users put their standing instructions to automatically sell their stock at when it hits that price. So GameStop did go past 420.69 for a little period, and then went back down. So, are people going to push for Herbalife? The only reason why I think Herbalife would be a possible thing. So Herbalife, the like fucking
aren't they
pyramid scheme kind of thing? They are.
I was gonna say, aren't they?
They fought. They're not a pyramid scheme because they will sue you for defamation.
Okay, sorry.
It's like it's an inverted triangle. Yeah,
it's a funnel. So there's a bunch of really rich people that have put huge shorts on their stocks in the past. So maybe that would be a target. I don't know why, because I don't think people care about Herbalife like they did GameStop, which would make sense.
Power to the players.
But like, Wall Street Bets could just find like another massively shorted company. It doesn't necessarily have to have the nostalgia play of like GameStop. They could. All they have
I think
to
in
find
some
is
part
like
of
a
it too,
similar
they just want to fuck
situation.
over big hedge fund companies. Yeah.
Well, and in
Yeah.
a lot of ways, this is like the libertarian wet dream of like, oh, you don't need to regulate hedge funds because we just found a way to profit from taking hedge funds down, and that's the free market, baby.
I understand how. Okay, here's how Robinhood makes its money. So, stock trading app that is kind of fun. People like it because it's got like
socialism explainers on it.
That is awful. Anytime anyone explains socialism related to the Nazi Party, they don't know what they're talking about.
It's right. It's National Socialist. It's right in the name. Come on.
It's a tube of soup.
I guess the nice thing about Robinhood, it's really easy to use. Like it's like a fucking like a game app almost. You know, you like put your money in and then you can just like click, tap things to make money go places and do all sorts of stuff. And anyway,
it's Cookie Clicker.
They have really cheap, like no commissions basically. And you can buy stock by fraction. You don't need to buy a full share. But they make all of their money. Why do you think they make their money if they're not charging? Spanky?
The data.
Bing, 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 bing. They sell all of their user data.
Yeah, they take your user data, figure out what kind of stocks are relative to other people's decisions. So if someone is buying stocks in a game company and they also buy stocks in a porn company, they're going to show video game ads on that porn website. And the way that the porn website knows to do that is because they buy that information from the data warehouse that Robinhood sells to.
Yeah, plus all those porn video games, the ones where you're like, you have to be 18 plus to play. Or,
have I told you guys that
you
I
won't last more than 5 minutes?
Have you ever told you guys that I had a friend who downloaded or who played like Cunt Wars, which was a porn game that I saw advertised on a cartoon, like a cartoon streaming, totally legal streaming cartoons website.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, okay.
And I told her about it, and she just fucking downloaded it and played it and like maxed out a character.
Was this like a RTS or like what kind of game?
Apparently, it was like Plants vs Zombies, but with like naked hentai boobies.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. All right,
where is this again?
Cunt Wars. Today's episode of Born in the 80s is sponsored by Cunt Wars. Go to cuntwars.xxx/bite to take a bite out of this Cunt Wars.
No, don't bite it. I mean, maybe soft nibble, like.
Yeah.
So here's the deal: if you want to make money off this fucking wave of Wall Street bets, just think about stocks that are traditional companies that people our age liked that are now not doing quite as well. I would say.
Or is there a way that I can now make
Nerf?
money off of the Wall
Nerf?
Street bets people?
Nerf is owned probably by Hasbro or something, so it's like
Or Mattel.
I would say what Best Buy might be a decent shot.
Best Buy's actually weirdly not doing that bad because now that Radio Shack and everything else has gone out of business,
I like the only thing.
People just need a place to go and buy a TV. Like
yeah, it's like them or Walmart, or Target. Yeah. Like those, that's all that's left.
Also, but Best Buy stock is already trading at $100 a share. So,
do you remember when there used to be?
It's not like GameStop's, where GameStop's share was so dirt cheap.
Yeah, well, I think BBY was one of the stocks that were touted by Wall Street Bets recently too.
Yeah, I know Nokia's stock.
Oh yeah, Nokia.
It was boosted for a bit.
BlackBerry was definitely one that was talking.
I will say that Nokia's boosting of their stock is their shares were worth at the end of the year last year $4, and they're now worth $4.50. So the boosting has been very light, not the GameStop levels there. I also wouldn't buy Nokia because I have no clue what. Although Bloomberg is saying Nokia's stock is serious, GameStop's is a game.
So I think Nokia is actually entering in, and I can't remember what this was, but I feel like at one point they were like talking with some company, like LG, I think, is thinking about stopping making smartphones, and then some other company was going to buy Nokia. I don't remember.
I know Nokia, like, fairly recently was going to release some new brick phones, like, for people that intentionally didn't want a smartphone or something. I guess, drug dealers.
Say they just sell track phones at the Dollar General store, so that drug dealers can fucking buy them.
I just want a Nokia that, like, it's shaped like a Nokia and everything. It's got the ringtones. There's no actual phone inside of it. It just plays Snake. I just want that, like, tactile experience of playing Snake on a Nokia phone. And then put some anime boobies in there.
A Cunt Wars special edition of a Nokia fucking 3360.
Man, I think I'm gonna go into Robinhood and buy some shares in Nokia.
All right,
it's $4 a share. I'll buy fucking 10 shares.
Born in the 80s, the four of us are gonna rally around Nokia with all of our money.
Matt,
John, why are you using Robinhood? They have anti-socialist propaganda.
I will say any stock market company app you use will say that. They all hate socialism. So,
but
Matt,
why?
I've gone to eBay to find a Nokia 3360 so that you can play Snake. And I would like to let you know that they are very cheap to find.
Do you know what's really
not
fun?
A big secondhand collector's market for those?
You know what's really fun about
Here's a lot of, like, a bajillion of them.
Do you know what's really fun about the
conditions of working, but it was like $30.
You know what's really fun about the Robinhood app?
I like interrupting John. That's like the only market for those is like if you're a YouTuber and you want to if you're like Look Mom No Computer and you're making a synthesizer out of Nokia phones and you need to buy like 1,000 of them. Go ahead, John.
No. No, what's really fun about Robinhood is that they give you a free stock when you set up your account.
Oh yeah, I got one of those.
Like it'll be in a random company. Mine was in Sirius XM radio.
I signed up.
I've made $2 in the 4 years that I've had that app.
I signed up for a stock trading app called like Public, I think. Okay. And they did that too. So I guess I have an Amazon stock. But then something was going wrong between them and my bank, and they won't accept any like money transfers. So I don't know. Anyway. I'm just trying to buy some meme stocks, and I don't know how to do any of it.
I kind of want to buy some Nokia stock, though. I didn't realize Nokia is actually like a real company still, but I was looking in.
So is BlackBerry,
and Nokia actually like owns a lot of like network infrastructure.
Yeah,
stuff.
Doesn't BlackBerry do stuff like that too? Don't they like?
Anyway,
corporate
the thing is that the real advice I have is that any of these things is a crazy wave, and you could either ride on top of it or get crushed into the coral underneath if you get something wrong. So
no, this one's not a bubble.
Wary.
This is the one that's not a bubble.
Be wary about spending a lot of money. But like I said, like, you know, when fucking Nokia stock is $4 a share, I mean, you could buy like 10 shares, maybe it'll go up to $200, and then you'll make like $180 for doing nothing. You know, like, why not? Or, you know, who cares? You lose it, like, whatever.
I wonder how my Betterment account is doing.
Actually, what you're going to want to do is you're going to take your money out of your 401k, take a loan out, buy some investment properties, right? You know, set them up real cheap, rent them out, you know, and then use that rental money that you're earning to buy more properties. This is John's hustle of the week report.
Yeah.
I'm a TikTok hustle.
What you got to do is you got to leverage all of your debt and then accumulate more debt to leverage and just keep going like that. And then ... profit.
So what you do is you take out a lot of life insurance policies on yourself and then die.
Or do you really die? Think about it.
Exactly. And then the money goes to your beneficiary, and then a new person shows up. You know, and this really works best if you already have dual citizenship in another country, because then you can move to the other country, you know, accept the goods, because then, you know, you're going to lose your social security number when you die, of course. And it's hard to get another one. I mean, you can probably find a guy, but
yeah.
Anyway,
mean, you just gotta find like, I don't know. There's for undocumented people. There's like a market for like illegal social security numbers. You just have to find the right people to talk to.
I just think it's fucking crazy. I mean, the real thing about this is it goes to show you, like TJ said, the stocks really don't have anything to do with the actual value of the company. It's literally just like a betting game. And that's what this is kind of showing. Because people are like, well, the stock market's doing good, so the government, the president must be doing good. And it has nothing to do with that.
No.
It is just a fucking funny money factory.
Yeah, under when Trump was still seemed like he was going to get reelected, people were like, the sitting president never gets voted out when the economy's good, and the economy's doing great right now. It's like, motherfucker, not for me. Like, I don't know how you measure that, but it seems pretty shitty to me.
The economy was not doing well. It actually shrank by 3.5%, is what we've learned this week.
But the numbers go burr.
But the stock market didn't go down. But the stock market is not the economy, as we've shown.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do with the actual value.
Big number, go up, John. Big number, go up.
Mm-hmm.
Number, go up.
Yeah, my 190,000 hours playing Adventure Capitalist has taught me.
Oh no, I'm gonna start playing that again, aren't I?
I hope not. Actually, I have room in my phone. I can start it again.
What I suggest that you should do is ask me before you do so. And I'll send you a link for you to get some free management for 17 months of your stuff. But go to betterment.com and use my link code.
Use my link code. Use my link code.
And use that as a way to invest, because they I guess invest mostly in like exchange traded funds and large.
I wonder if Cunt Wars is publicly traded.
Maybe like their parent. You'll find out their parent company is like Tencent.
So here's a good point. So like. My Betterment account, I just have their regular core strategy. They 23% of the money I have with them is in the Vanguard ETF, exchange traded fund, which is just total stock market. It is just every stock as one. So when the stock market goes up, I make money.
Yeah, it's
very low risk.
That's like I think Warren Buffett. I heard an interview with him about that. Where you
just make money, like
you basically just evenly distribute to every stock.
Yep, and there's no way you can lose. It's
not like a rocket, but it'll continuously go up over time.
Well, it's like playing roulette, and you put money on all the pieces, or a large enough amount of pieces that you'll lose some on some, but you'll hit big on others, and you'll eventually make money, because the stock market, unlike gambling, doesn't have a house advantage. There isn't a double zero. So, you'll eventually make money. Like, I have had a Betterment account open since, it was right before I wanted to buy a house. It was like probably 2015, 2016. So it's been like 5-6 years. And I have made $2,000 on it just for putting money into it.
Can I have your money?
No.
Okay.
But you can have this tip. So give a man money. He'll eat for a day. Tell a man to use betterment.com and my referral code, and they'll eat for a lifetime. No, but I mean, like, the idea is that I made this money basically by just putting in $125 every month into this. You know what I mean? And like, it's just a small enough money where I was like, I'm not going to notice this, and then it just earns, because stocks, not only, depending on the stock, not only make money as you buy and sell them, but they do things called dividends. And so certain stocks, like Walmart is a stock that does this, and other stocks, but they give money out to their shareholders. So like the company actually pays their shareholders part of their earnings. So those are really good to get into if you want to make passive money, because if you buy a bunch of Walmart stocks and every quarter they'll pay you a dividend. For me, it's a very small amount, obviously, because I don't own very many shares, but you just I've earned that much. I've earned $400 in dividends over the last 6 years, which is not very much. But when you think about splitting that over 6 years, it's $75 a year. But
my free Amazon stock is up 0.04%, so I made a penny.
Nice. But it's just that's the sensible way to invest. That's what I'm not telling anyone to do that or to brag or anything, but it's just to put a small amount of money on something that is very diversified, and then you'll just slowly trickle money over the years.
Use Yoda, and instead of just giving you a normal interest rate, they turn it into a lottery system that's about exactly the same thing, but it feels a lot more fun.
But what I should have done is, instead of putting $125 a month into Betterment, is I should have saved it all, put it into GameStop stocks, and then 3 weeks ago, and then sold it now.
Well, and then you make so much money, you hire a team of engineers to develop a time machine, and then you can go back to the beginning of Bitcoin.
And then make real money.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's just I think this is at least my advice, the sensible way to play the stock market is to look at investment funds like Wealthfront does them too, and things where you're just earning little bits each month, but it adds up over the years. You know what I mean? It's just nice to have that. I mean, because this is just, for me, this is just like a savings account. This just has a higher interest rate than a regular savings account, because I don't need this money now, but if I needed it, I could sell it. And although it's not liquid because it's an investment account, so like TJ said,
it's digital.
Again, when I want to get out of this, they actually have to find someone to buy the shares that I own. So that could take some time. It could take, weeks or 2 weeks to get all my money out of it. So it's not really like a savings account, but it's just, this is like a deep savings account to me. Where it's you can do that. Or
it's like a certificate of deposit rather than a savings account.
Fucking dude, I hate CDs.
I used to have one of those.
Certificates of deposits are nice because they give you a nice return, but
yeah, I had one of those for for saving up for college when I was a teenager.
Yeah. I mean, a certificate of deposit is basically you give money to a bank and say, I'm not going to cash this for a year.
Yeah.
And then they give you an interest rate higher than normal in a savings account, because they basically don't have to give you the money back for a whole year.
Let's make
but the interest rates aren't that good. They used to be a lot better, but I mean, you can thank the government for lowering interest rates to the fucking floor right now. To juice up the economy, that savings accounts give you nothing for interest.
Let's make an app that's like Tinder, but it connects people that want to borrow money with people that have extra cash, and then we can just avoid the banks, cut out the middleman.
I think the other great thing is that also through Betterment, this is an ad for Betterment, I have they have a savings account too that just has a better interest rate than my bank, so I just put money into this too.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, guess how much money I made in interest to the month of December? 69 cents,
nice.
Baby.
Nice.
I just got 69 cents. I literally just noticed that now. I got 69 cents, baby, for the month of December. Hell yeah.
So I have looked into the creator of Cunt Wars.
Right.
What the? Well, okay, this isn't a real thing.
It's a real thing. Hooligart, HOOLIGART.itch.io. They have an itch.io account with all the games they make. The games include Smash
I gotta look this up.
Oh my god. Cunt Empire.
Yeah, so they have hit.
I had to open up an incognito thing so that I could look at it.
It's just itch.io. Come on, man.
No, I went to cuntwars.com.
Oh. I don't know if it's hosted on cuntwars.com. It may be.
I'll just tell you, if you go to cuntwars.com, it is extremely explicit right off the bat.
Oh yeah.
Let me see. This is the game.
It seems to be.
This is it. Yeah.
It says Unity WebGL.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Perfect. John's going to share his screen right now.
I will not. There is
Oh wow!
active fellatio happening.
Look at
right now
that purple demon lady. What a wow!
So,
can you explain what this is? Is this is this the new World of Warcraft? Is this what you're telling me?
Yeah, so Cunt Wars 18 Plus is a turn-based tactical role-playing game with an impressive hentai component, various graphics, as well as very interesting gameplay, and without the juicy details of battles led by players.
Okay,
Beauties will storm fortresses and dungeons, breed monsters and evil wizards, and also regularly pay attention to their favorite commander. He must only improve their characteristics in a timely manner, purchase armed forces, and just as closely monitor the situation and time separately. The rest can try their hand at battles against tens of thousands of real players.
You know,
okay.
I know what you're
I just
thinking.
want to read the bottom.
You're thinking that sounds great, but I'm really more into collectible card trading games. Smutstone is.
I was about to say. I'm looking at the bottom list, and they have a bunch of lists of other apps. We've got FAP Titans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pussy Saga. Yes. We've got the aforementioned Cunt Wars. Smutstone.
Yep.
Poker Sluts. Slot Bitches.
Yeah, Slot Bitches.
Sex Gangsters.
I'm seeing a really clear naming convention here.
Is this the new Neopets?
My favorite one that I've seen here is Cunt Empire, which it's build your porn empire with hot models. So let's say that you are a lonely person who needs to relieve your sexual tension by going on the internet and looking at sexually explicit images. Instead of just doing that, where you're viewing something that pornography actors and filmers and crews or whatever have put together for your consumption, you can play a video game where you are the person who puts together these things. And I'm wondering if this is a social experiment to make people who want to consume porn understand the people who actually perform the porn dislike it, or if this is not an actually realistic representation.
No, there's no way this is. This doesn't have union breaks and stuff.
Guys, I'm playing FAP Titans. Just give me a sec here.
So you're telling me, Matt, that you don't think that Cunt Empire is sex workers association approved?
Yeah, they're you're not gonna be making budgetary decision about the craft services table or anything like that.
I'll say that the icon on the itch.io page is a man on a couch with money flying around in the background, receiving fellatio from one woman. A second woman just straddling, I believe. Yes, that is a dildo. It looked kind of like a shoe in the screen. And then a third woman just on the ground, upside down.
In squirt position is what we call that.
Yes. God.
I want to just mention that cuntwars.com is stuck loading at 90%, and I'm very furious that this Unity thing.
Don't worry, it happens to a lot of guys.
Actually, doesn't it for a lot of guys load to 100% immediately? And then,
that too.
And then it's closed. It
depends on what sort of psychological.
I guess if you're on SSRIs, if you're on an SSRI, sometimes it never loads completely.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh god, the fellatio is happening again now that I've reloaded the page. I'll tell you this: FAP Titans so far it does not have any nudity in it, but there are some very busty girls.
What style of gameplay is it? Is it like a cookie clicker?
Have you played Tap Titans?
No.
It's a cookie clicker.
It is. You're clicking and then you level up.
I didn't know about Tap Titans, so I assumed it was like a Clash of Clans thing.
I'm more of a Clicker Heroes kind of guy.
It's like Clicker Heroes. You just click. But instead of the heroes that are normal, you have this really sexy looking cowboy lady who's wearing barely any clothes.
Nice. Sounds fun.
I want one of those that's all ASCII art, like one of the old school clickers.
I found a Reddit.
If you're really just talking about Universal Paperclips again.
Yeah.
I found a Reddit post. My review of Cunt Force.
Sexier paperclips.
It starts off, what the fuck? I thought this was fake. Going to try playing it now. Be back later if I haven't any updates. If you don't hear from me, I've been virused. Edit. Alright, I'm back and ready to tell you about my journey. Not gonna lie, the actual gameplay is decent, better than I expected from a porn game. But my main problem is that this game didn't have any fucking porn other than the loading screen, the transition screen, and the character icons. But even those were just still images. I wasted 16 minutes of my life playing this shit, holding my penis, waiting for sweet, sweet release, only to come to the conclusion, I think that he didn't come to that this game doesn't have any fucking porn. It's so fucking stupid. Gameplay-wise, it's like Clash Royale. It's a turn-based RPG combined. 6 out of 10 on gameplay. Overall review score 0 out of 10. Why? Because they didn't have any fucking porn involved whatsoever. Edit 2. Never mind. I give this game 10 out of 10 because someone gave me Reddit gold. So
okay,
we just delved into the mind of a Redditor here.
So speaking of porn, I mean there is porn happening on the couch behind Matt right now.
Oh yeah, cat on
cat action happening, licking, some pussy licking happening in the background.
This is a very sexually explicit episode of a podcast story.
Porn in the 80s, gone sexual.
Well, with a known asexual as one of the hosts,
notorious, some might say.
So I've gone to I've gone to pussysaga now.com, and their webpage has brought up one. Square of this page is I can't screen share this because of the nudity. There's a big square that is my antivirus has blocked from loading, and then there's a thing that says Pussy Saga play adult game. Please enable Flash Player on this place to play this game. So
as far as I know, Pussy Saga is not a Hula Gaps game, or
it has Hula Gaps written on the bottom.
Okay, well, it's not on their itch.io page.
I assume it's a heavily story-based.
Wait, we got more games, guys. I didn't even see this. We've got Town of Sins and Lust Case.
Tower of Sins.
Do they have any rhythm games for TJ?
I don't know. I'm opening up Cunt Empire though because I really want to see where that goes. Why do they use that word? Isn't that a bad word?
Not in Australia. Maybe they're Australian.
I don't think it's that bad of a word.
Well probably because Twat Empire just didn't roll off the tongue as well.
I would play Twat Empire.
I will say this right now, that whatever the heck Fap Titans is, there's zero nudity in this game. The only nudity are in the ads below the screen. I'm going to leave this running on my computer overnight because I'll have forgotten, and I'll have 8 billion points in this game.
Yeah.
I wonder, what's the point of not putting porn in your game that you advertise has porn in it?
I know, what does that hurt?
Because you still are making art for this game.
Well, but it's just the ads.
Well, no, they make art
for the game. Sprites and stuff.
Well, no. They make art for the games, just not pornographic art. The games still have to have art that they draw. I think Smutstone has nipples. I've seen nipples in some of the screenshots of Smutstone.
I'll show you nipples.
Well, you're not allowed to show that on
we'll
Twitch.
get banned.
Yeah.
What kind of band? I could play the trombone.
The band.
You know, Cunt Empire has the delightful Sims and SimCity loading screens where it has all the little fake loading tooltips. We've got unpacking condoms, foreplaying, getting them talked to do anal, which I don't think is right, stretching their buttholes, boobs swelling, nipples hardening. This is also taking forever to load. And I feel like it's just Bitcoin mining at this point, probably. Yeah. Hiring bitches, raising those skirts. See if
that's probably what it is, huh? So it's probably a game that just
wait, nope. Let's go. I click let's go. Here we go.
It's a game that doesn't have any clear porn in it. So it's just making these gamers spend 15 minutes looking for porn.
Yeah.
While it's fucking Bitcoin mining on their computer.
Or it's secretly part of SETI. And it's like noble, or like folding at home. It's like some noble thing.
I can't wait until like some Dan Rather type has to get on CBS Evening News, and they're like, "So extraterrestrial life was finally found because of a software initiative called SETI. It's been running since the '90s, and it's scanning in our entire solar system and extended galaxy for extraterrestrial life. There was a sudden surge in computational power given to SETI because a new patch was released on the Cunt Wars video game website."
I like
right.
in your mind, Dan Rather is still reading the news.
Gosh, Dan Rather hasn't done the news in like 15 years.
Dan Rather would rather not.
I can confirm that Cunt Empire has nudity and porn in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the one where you're making porn, like it's like porn simulator.
It's like porn producer simulator. Right now, I've got a webcam show happening, earning me passive income, and then when you complete the episode, you get a case that has rare, common, or elite girls in it that you can use to hire for your shows. It seems like an actual thing, yeah. I will say that it runs like absolute dog shit on my computer, so I have no clue what is happening, but it is just frame ratey as shit. I'm going to close it now because that's porno music.
TJ and I were talking about Hyrule Warriors before the podcast, and now I just want a Hyrule or like a Dynasty version of like Cunt Dynasty, whereas there's just constantly like waves and waves of naked women coming
that's
at
a different version of Duck Dynasty that got canceled.
Isn't that really just the Genshin Impact sequel they're making?
Maybe. What the fuck are we talking about?
I don't know.
How long have we been recording?
I don't know.
Enough. We could stop early. I don't know.
About an hour and a half.
I gotta go on twitch.io to see what
itch.io.
No, it's twitch.io.
I'll die.
Hour 16 on Twitch, so.
All right, this is, you know what we should do is we should record a podcast for 24 hours straight. Do a marathon.
Yeah.
I don't even
and
like
raise money for charity.
Do like 3 hours.
Spanky, I bought a vacuum cleaner before we started the podcast.
This will be a good conversation.
Well, they were talking about fucking Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, last podcast, you let me talk for fucking 15 minutes about some dumbass car shit. I'm not falling for this trap.
Hey, Spanky, how did you total your previous vacuums?
Yeah, Spanky, tell me about the vacuum cleaner that you're working with at home right now. I bought a Dyson off of Costco.
I have a I think it's a Bissell.
God,
this is the one I have.
We cannot stop talking about vacuum cleaners.
I have the Shark Navigator, but
I have a Bissell that I and then I have a hand vac that's Ryobi brand.
This is why I bought the Dyson Animal V8 cordless stick vacuum for $300, because it is like has the power of like a regular.
There's an 8-cylinder engine in there.
Yeah, it fucking does.
Wow.
But
thing got a Hemi.
Yeah, it you know, you got to open the windows in the house when you're using it, but you know it's worth it. The cleaning power. No, but like having a cordless vacuum would just be really handy because you can they have like a short nozzle, so I could take it out to the car. Like I need something that isn't this giant thing I have to lug around, so I can do the stairs easier. Because
you also have a dog now, and
there's a lot more hair in the house, and only having one vacuum for 2 entire floors of carpeted is annoying. So I think the smaller. I
have very few carpeted rooms in my house, so even if I had another animal, it wouldn't be that big.
I will tell you, every single room of this entire house is carpeted.
I just have a Roomba, and I can't even...
except for the kitchen.
I can't even keep up with emptying out the bin in my Roomba.
Not the bathrooms. The bathrooms
is the laundry room carpeted? Is the garage carpeted? You're lying to me.
The laundry room is carpeted. The garage is not part of the finished area of the home.
What about the bathroom? Is it carpeted?
The bathroom is not carpeted.
Get on it. Get on that. Carpet that garage. Carpet your driveway.
I would like a carpeted garage, you know? A nice shag carpet for the car.
Mm-hmm.
We have a little bit more time before we can switch to Korra, because I actually want to talk about that, because for fuck's sake, we need to get back to it, and I watched all of the things. I don't know what else is going on. Fucking Elon Musk, he sucks.
Yeah. More like Elon sucks.
I don't know.
Elon Tusk.
I don't know.
There's
I guess we could just.
There's nothing happening in the world right now. Everything's so calm.
Like, I just wish, like, I want to watch, like, that show, like WandaVision, you know?
Yep.
But it's just like, I'm like on a forum that I go to, and everyone's posting 8 million fucking things about how everything relates to some fucking Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. bullshit that I don't give a shit about, and I don't want it to connect to anything. I just want it to be its own thing.
So
it won't connect to anything if you don't know the connections.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that, like, just ignore, like, we have talked about this
I know. I hate the fandom of Marvel, and they're going ape shit over this. I just want a good show that I like to watch.
Seek out, like, reading their opinions and shit so you can hate them.
Like, I'm part of this forum, and I fucking hate being part of that forum.
Oh, I like the forum. I just they like the Marvel stuff a little bit more than I do.
So here's what I'll have to say, because I've seen every episode of the WandaVision.
I didn't watch
John's
this
more
week,
of a Zack Snyder fan.
The first 2 episodes have
released the Snyder Cut.
They did. It's the first 2 episodes. It's on HBO Max. The first
it's not out yet, is it?
I think so. Maybe I'm thinking of Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah.
Something came out.
I watched half of that movie. It was all right.
I have a
Snyder Cut release date. Snyder Cut release date news. March 18th, 2021.
I bought a year of DC Universe because I forgot to take it off of auto renew. So I now have a fucking like $4 a month, like 1 year subscription to a service that has already died, and all of its things have been moved to HBO Max.
Yeah.
So I do not know what the fuck I just spent $70 on. But
I had a monthly thing with that too, and like immediately after I bought it, everything wound up on HBO. Like I never watched a single thing on DC Universe.
It's nice because there's a couple shows now that I fucking love. Titans is great. Doom Patrol is probably one of my favorite shows of all time. The Harley Quinn cartoon is really good.
Yeah, Doom Patrol and the Harley Quinn ones were the one, so that like made me sign up for it, and I still haven't gotten around to watch them.
There was another one. Oh, and then the new seasons of Young Justice, which was a show that got canceled in like 2012 that I watched. That they brought back for DC Universe. Those were all good. The problem, of course, was that nothing else on it was worth buying, and people weren't buying it because it didn't have, like, people wanted to get HBO shit, and there were people who definitely, like me, wanted DC Universe shit, but Warner Brothers owns both of those streaming services, and they needed to financially make sense out of that shit. So one of them had to die, and it was going to be the one that had less appeal. What I don't know is why I'm still paying for it, but I am too lazy to unpay for it. So that's where part of my 600 stimmy is going, to fucking Warner Brothers, to give me a year of a defunct goddamn subscription service.
So speaking of defunct subscription service, did you see that the WWE Network has been purchased by a streaming giant?
No.
Was it Peacock?
It is Peacock. Peacock has purchased the rights to the WWE Network, and starting on March 18th, Peacock will be the streaming service that will stream the WWE Network. They bought it. This has something to do. I mean, the WWE Monday Night Raw has been on the USA Network, which is owned by NBC Universal, for over 30 years. So, they're going to be on there. Now I'm going to have to get a Peacock subscription because that's a fucking good deal.
Peacock is free. If you're gonna watch it live, it's free.
Not the WWE stuff. The WWE stuff will be $5 per month for their with ad service, or $10 a month. A
premium membership includes commercials and costs $5, while a premium plus membership is ad free and costs $10. That I don't think you guys know what premium means.
I know it annoys me so much with this shit. But one thing that was actually about Peacock, because I had a 3-month trial from Peacock because I had an Amazon or an Android account. They just gave you like a 3-month free trial, and I ended up paying for fucking a month of Peacock because I forgot to cancel it. But it doesn't matter. But one thing I was complaining about is they didn't have old SNL. They have every season of SNL on there now, so you can watch like all the old ones. They are heavily edited. Like I was looking at some episodes because we watched the last episode with Chris Farley and Adam Sandler in it. I forget who the host was. Oh, it was David Duchovny. But it was 40 minutes, that episode. So they cut a lot of sketches out. And the musical guests are all cut out too. Because I'm sure because of the rights with the music. So
yeah,
it isn't perfect, but like it is kind of fun to like see them do an X-Files intro sketch with David Duchovny where there's a Bigfoot in the studio that just ends up being Chris Farley walking around without a shirt on, which is pretty good as a gag. He was just eating food and dropping it everywhere, which I thought was really funny. I was like, man, remember when SNL was funny? Like watching this and like, oh my God. Like, you know, and that's the one that has the sketch.
SNL stock.
That was the one that had the sketch where it's the very last sketch, but where they're all just like drunk and at the zoo, and they just keep jumping into the fucking polar bear exhibit, and each person jumps in and explodes blood over everyone. They're like talking, and then it's because I think the joke is they're talking to Norm Macdonald, who's annoying, and like they just like talk to him, and then they're like, all right, well, I'm gonna go jump in that polar bear cage. He's probably eaten enough of my friends, and then they just die. It's like, these are funny. Like, why SNL sucks so bad now compared to that? Like, it's just,
hey, we can get Jim Carrey to play the fly on Mike Pence's head.
Oh, that the politics stuff was like, there was early on some really funny sketches that they did, and then they like ran it to the fucking ground is what happened.
I will say like the second time Alec Baldwin was Trump was when it was fucking tired, which was like the second.
No, I'm talking about like when Melissa McCarthy was Sean Spicer, you know, and just making fun of him, and you could tell that guy under his fucking skin, which is why it worked. But like,
the
when
problem is we're in like a post parody world. Like, if reality is so crazy, then you can't make comedy out of it. The reason it was funny to make fun of George Bush Sr. is because he was like, he's serious about shit all the time. So Dana Carvey making fun of him is comedy.
Yeah.
Trump killed that because he's so fucking laughable in general.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on WandaVision.
Is that so? What I started off saying about that streaming service bullshit was just that I've watched every episode. It doesn't do any shit where you've had to seen every episode of Agent Carter to understand it. It explains
that's the thing I'm worried about.
The only thing I will say is that the girl from the first two Thor movies, who was in a lot of stuff back then, who I can't remember her name now.
Is it Kat Denning?
Oh, Kat Dennings. I think I saw an image of her. I like Kat Dennings.
Yes, she's in it. Her character is very good. Her character being like the stronger of the two characters out of Natalie Portman and her, even though she was just a side character.
To be fair to Natalie Portman, her character was girlfriend. There was
it also seemed like she didn't really want to be there.
Like, she didn't have a personality.
Which is funny, because now that she's going to be like Mighty Thor in the next Thor movie, it seems like she actually finally wants to be in these fucking Marvel movies.
Hell yeah, dude. Chick Thor.
So is that the Love and Thunder one, or is that one after that?
I think it must be the one after that, because Love and Thunder, I think, is still...
no, I think Love and Thunder is whenever Mighty Thor first happens.
I was about to say, I think it might be like the changeover. that we're going to see. So
because I think Thor is going to become a part of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
correct.
And
because
he just goes by Odin's son in the comics.
Correct,
I guess.
Because the lore of Thor is the guy who holds the hammer, or the person who holds the hammer. So if he doesn't want to be Thor anymore, he doesn't have to be.
And he's got his cool Peter Dinklage axe now. He doesn't need that hammer.
Exactly. He doesn't need to be fucking the leader of the, what are they called?
Asgardians of the Galaxy.
The Asgardians.
The Asgards.
Oh man.
I will say the best part about all of the fucking MCU thing was making him fat for the entirety of
and Hemsworth specifically said
they wanted to have a training montage where he got thin.
Yeah.
Like real
Chris
quick.
Evans said, "I'm quitting Captain America because it sucks staying fit all the fucking time for these movies." And Hemsworth said, "I'll be Thor if you make him fat," and they did. And he's like, "Now you can't make him get skinny because then I won't play Thor. If you want me to continue playing Thor, he's got to have a gut." And so they gave him one, and that's probably.
So what they were going to do, though, is even more than that, is that they were going to have, like, him be fat as a joke, and then kind of get into shape a little bit. Yeah. But then he was just like, no, this is too funny. He just needs to be fat, but throughout the whole thing. Yeah. And it worked, because it's funny. Yeah. Like, he's still got his superpowers. Why does he have to be ripped? Like, he can still fly around. Like, I just loved Fat Thor. And the fucking Marvel movies, they're so annoying in some respects. It's so like corner shaved off, but there's those moments like Fat Thor that just make me laugh and make me be like, I'll watch the next one.
Yeah,
there's just enough good stuff in there.
And I'll say that like WandaVision is the first 2 episodes of WandaVision are very much its own thing. Like,
oh yeah, the first 3 even really. There's like the last part of the third one. There's a little bit of references to
the fourth one. It's called "We Interrupt This Program," and it very much is about
what's happening
going on outside of Wanda's sitcom.
Yeah, because the comic book storylines that I've read are that she's kind of an insanely powerful being that has trapped things inside her mind palace, basically.
Yeah, she's basically like a god that can't deal with the death of Vision, so it's like manifesting itself in
which
this
I think
thing.
is kind of a cool concept, and it was a really cool. People really liked that whole arc in the comics a lot, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it in the series. And at least so far, like I've only seen the first 3. I forgot to watch the episode on Friday, but I've liked it. I just hate the fandom that is just like, oh man, it just reminds me of like the show The Leftovers, like where it's one of those mystery box shows, like kind of it's produced by Damon Lindelof and all that, but like the whole point of the mystery box is there's nothing in it. Yeah, and that's kind of the whole point of that show. Basically, is the moral of that show, and that's what I really like, because it really deconstructs that, because it just throws all the shit out that ends up being like, this is all red herrings. Like,
but did they ever
like that's the whole point of that show.
Did they ever explain how the polar bear got to the island?
That's in Lost.
Yes, that's
but where'd the smoke monster come from?
The story of Lost is that J.J. Abrams didn't write past the pilot.
Yeah,
that was a good pilot, though.
It to get picked up and did not give a shit about where it went after that.
Yeah.
So like if you look at
an example of how far you can go on just a really fucking good pilot.
Yeah. So that was, you've got J.J. Abrams and you've got Damon Lindelof, and they worked together on Lost. And then J.J. Abrams went off to make terrible Star Wars movies, and Damon Lindelof made The Leftovers and that show with Catherine Hahn called Miss Fletcher or whatever. I think he worked on that, maybe. No, it was the writer of The Leftovers that worked with Damon Lindelof that went off to do that. The guy who wrote the book The Leftovers wrote the book on that. I don't know. Anyway, Damon Lindelof's the good one. that's the moral of that story. That's the moral of the story. No, out of the 2 of Lost, he's the one that went on to make good things. Whereas,
I liked JJ's Star Treks, but only because they inject some fun into the Star Trek series, which is desperately needed.
What if Star Wars or Star Trek was like had some fun in it?
Yeah, and like I'll say that Beyond is the only one of the 3 that is really great.
I still haven't seen that one.
It's really great, and
I really should. I know I'd love it.
It sucks that Anton Yelkin or Yeltsin, whatever.
Boris Yeltsin.
Yeah, Boris Yeltsin.
No, Anton Yelkin, I believe is his
name.
Yeah,
the guy who got ran over by his car.
Yeah.
Man, what a terrible way to go.
Beyond, and it sucks that we don't have him in a future Star Trek movie. But the difference between what he did to Star Trek and what he did to Star Wars is that Star Wars was already fun, and then he just made it boring, or like predictable, or just badly written. Whereas Star Trek was written by Simon Pegg, and then JJ's like work on it was to direct it and like make it a fun experience to watch.
To add all them lens flares.
Yes. And then in Star Wars, it was like JJ wrote it, and he sucks at writing. He just really does.
Well, like Star Trek Beyond was good because it was written by Simon Pegg and directed not by J.J. Abrams, but Justin Lin, who directed Fast and Furious and Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. So a guy who directs fun action movies, and a Simon Pegg who is a very smart, nerdy writer. So you have a really good Star Trek fan writing a story that's an action story that you have a great action director. So it's going to be good. Whereas Star Trek Into Darkness was written by 4 people, including Damon Lindelof, but directed by J.J. Abrams, so it sucked ass.
I will say that Into Darkness, it was
Star Trek Into Darkness doesn't suck. What sucks is they said this isn't Khan, and then it was Khan the entire time.
Like, so that's the thing. Ewan has never seen, or at least had never seen, Wrath of Khan.
Oh my god, it's so good! I watched it again recently,
I'll say that Wrath of Khan is overrated and the motion picture is underrated.
No, the motion picture sucks so much dick. I
so,
can't even talk to you about this.
Good. It's like this shitty kind of sucks.
There's like 40 minutes of shots of the outside of the ship in that movie.
Oh, it's so
too much.
Yeah,
boring.
They were just like, we're on the big screen now, bitches. Look at this shit.
Yeah, literally what it is.
Like eat an edible and watch the motion picture.
That's true. I suppose, yeah.
But anyway, Ewan had never seen Khan and was like, no, Into Darkness was really good. I liked it. And I'm like, I can see why you'd think that, but as someone who's seen Khan, I'm just like, oh, okay, so it's now Kirk on the other side of the reactor, and that was the big. That makes it not Wrath of Khan because we've just swapped what side they're on at that, and we've made Benedict Cumberbatch Khan and whitewashed that character originally not played by a white person.
Khan! Well, because Benedict Cumberbatch is good evil guy. He's the only guy who can play a bad guy.
Yeah,
it's like what. I don't know. Anyway, I liked Star Trek Into Darkness too. People like to really hate on it.
I figure it's probably not a good sign that I don't remember if I've seen Star Trek Beyond or not.
Star Trek Beyond was the one who had the girl with the face paint and then the holographic motorcycle guys jumping around.
Nope, not ringing a bell.
Beastie Boys in a attack on. It was the same Beastie Boys song from the beginning of the first Star Trek J.J. Abrams movie.
Well, maybe I'll watch that tonight because it's on Hulu.
It's a good watch for sure. You guys know what else is a good watch?
Korra.
4 episodes of season 3 of The Legend of Korra.
I just want to with just one final thing at Khan before we get to Korra, because I just read this on the fucking Star Trek Into Darkness thing. The film was criticized for a scene with actress Alice Eve's character, Carol Marcus, in her underwear, which was called wholly unnecessary and gratuitous by, I guess, the Daily Geek. Screenwriter and producer Damon Lindelof apologized to Twitter on the scene. I take responsibility and will be more mindful in the future. On Conan, Abrams addressed the matter by debuting a deleted scene of actor Benedict Cumberbatch character Khan taking a shower. Okay. I guess that makes up for it. Eve
That's
addressed
but we're racist against the whites too.
Yeah, no, but actress Alice Eve addressed the underwear controversy at a Star Trek convention, saying, "I didn't know it was that much of a ruckus. I certainly didn't feel exploited." Like, who's making this argument? She was just like, "It's just, people like this is why I hate nerd fandom, because people like to argue over the dumbest shit that nobody cares about." But like, who cares? Yeah. I think they shouldn't have even responded to that. It was a dumb scene.
Well, this is back when when companies didn't realize you could just ignore Twitter outrage.
Yeah, don't listen to people on Twitter. Just
the internet's
put your
not
shit
real
out.
Life.
Don't react about it, because like the number one thing is when people are like, "Boy, that's exploiting women," and then the person who did it was like, "I was fine." Like, what are you arguing about?
No,
at this point.
No, John.
Oh my God! Stop arguing about nothing.
Because
argue about the fact that they made Khan white. That's what I'd argue about. That's insane. Sorry, I'm yelling a lot, but anyway,
Owens gave me permission.
Okay, fair enough. It's just like I just hate like the nerd culture of like we have to comment on every single tiny thing that a director does, and it's like, Jews, guys, don't listen to any of these people. There's a reason why fucking Rose Tico wasn't in the third fucking Star Wars movie, because everyone on the internet hated her, and then J.J. Abrams was like, "Well,
yeah."
So I think the first example I could think of like people thinking they had to listen to fucking people on.
That's why J.J. Abrams sucks. Is because he listens to people on the internet. When he does stuff.
I would argue that for The Force Awakens, he did exactly what needed to be done for Star Wars.
Like, it
needed to be a safe movie for everyone to accept it.
That's where you start. That's a safe,
but you
like,
can't
origin
go back to that.
Story of the. But you can't, like, that's the jumping off point. Like, yeah, it's fine. I thought it was fine, But
you know what else is fine? The first 4 episodes of Season 3 of The Legend of Korra.
Yes, Korra time. So let's. Okay. So I want to change the way we do these fucking recaps, because me going through the wiki of every episode and explaining every plot detail is annoying. So what happened in episode 1?
There was a city, Republic City, I think it's called.
I guess we need something to go off of.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. After harmonic convergence.
Yeah. Basically, Korra.
Can I get a short recap?
Scene of Korra traversing through this viney, what looks like dank forest. And
the dankest forest.
It turns out that it's actually Republic City, and that the spirits are not jiving with the people who are living in Republic City.
All right. I got short descriptions of the episode, so we don't have to go through the whole thing. Oh, Studio Mir. God damn, the animation in Korra is so good. Anyway, so yeah, Republic City is now covered in vines, and she can't remove them. And also now people are airbending, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Boomy, we're introduced to that because Boomy pissed off Boomy Jr. by like making him a sweater that sucked. Yeah. And then was like, "No, come back! I just wear. Will you please wear the sweater?" The sweater looked way too small for Boomy Jr. And then he climbs out on a branch and falls off, airbends to save himself, except for that he does it poorly and then still falls onto his face.
Yeah, but I guess, and then they find reports of other airbenders and shit in town, like. Just like these are like normal people all of a sudden given like a superpower basically, and it's fucking shit up.
Yeah,
because they're like, what's going on? And so they're like fucking Tenzin and is like, we got to get all these people together and fucking start a new air nomad nation now, because like harmonic convergence opened fucking airbending back up to the world.
Looks like airbending's back on the menu.
And then at the end of the episode, we get like fucking Dangerous Criminals here, voiced by Henry Rollins, which is pretty fun. Was like being kept in this remote prison, but he suddenly is able to airbend, and that's how he escapes the prison that was meant for him to not. So they go to the Earth Nation, I guess, in the second episode. I don't remember why they go there first.
They go there because there have been reports of airbenders in Ba Sing Se.
There are no airbenders in Ba Sing Se.
They actually use that line.
So when they go So what do you think's going to happen when they go to Ba Sing Se? Is there going to be some kind of crazy government like cover-up plot where they are attacked by the corrupt leader and a bunch of their minions? Because I didn't see that one coming.
Because on the way to Ba Sing Se, they stop at a bunch of places, including taking in
Kai.
Taking in Kai, little.
It's true. They actually
asshole
so
kid.
Episode 2, they're traveling the Earth Kingdom, but they don't get to Ba Sing Se until 3.
They're just like they're finding like airbenders, and they're like, Tenzin's like, oh, you want to join me? Stop eating meat, shave your head, put some tattoos all over your body. Yeah, you want to do that?
And everyone's like, get the fuck out of here.
Leave your family.
For some reason, Tenzin thinks. For some reason, Tenzin thinks that because they're airbenders now, they're just going to completely abandon their culture and like their whole life up to this point.
Yeah. So that wasn't working, but they were able to recruit Kai, who was like a thief, and he was basically just trying to get away from the authorities anyway.
Yeah. Big Wan energy in him.
After 2 full seasons of adults or almost adult aged people, we finally have another 10-year-old romance to be in front of our eyes.
So then we also see Zahir liberate Gazan. I don't know how to pronounce him. The Earthbender, bad guy.
The Lava Bender.
And then Minghua, who's voiced by Grey Delisle. So you were worried about not having Azula voice. You get one in the armless waterbender.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that
I love the way their prisons are like fucking designed too.
Yeah.
So like they're all like built.
You're the waterbender, so you're in the middle of a volcano.
Yeah. But then I forget, like, I think she's escaped because he throws some water to her. And she's able to get out.
I didn't quite understand that, though, because if they're in a volcano and she uses the arms to swing around, wouldn't, like, the arms touching the volcano parts of the metal just immediately evaporate the water?
Look, also, they would have had to feed her water at some point, and she could have just piss-bended her way out.
Okay, we've gone over piss-bending before. Earthbenders could have shit-bended.
Yeah. I wonder if that, like, if you're an earthbender, if you shit and you have to wait for like the bacteria to break it down to a certain point before it becomes earth. It's like, we're there. I felt the click.
Is a lava bender, so they would have had to fed him some like mango habanero wings so that he could shit lava before he earthbender.
So anyway, they're escaping, and then you see Zuko meet up with what's his name? Tone Roke?
Yeah, Tone Rock. Funky Comb with Dana.
Tonrock, because they've learned of the escaping of the prisoners, and they go to the North Pole where the last member of Zahir's band of like bad guys has been kept. So
and it turns out all these people are in prison originally for like attempting to kidnap Korra when she was a kid.
Exactly. We learned that in a later episode. In the 4th episode, actually, we get to that where they finally explain to Korra what the fuck's going on. But yeah, the 3rd episode's like Ba Sing Se, hey, guess what? The leader is a shithole person. And
what's funny about this one is that in Avatar, the leader was completely harmless, but he was being like manipulated by his like military leaders. And in this one, the opposite is true, where the leader is actually a huge danger to like society.
Yeah.
And it's also his daughter.
And there's a rumor that she ate the bear.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot what happens in this season.
Yeah, this is an interesting season.
There's some. I was about to say
threads, but I don't remember all the little details. So like,
I'm just scrolling down and reading this, and I was like, oh yeah, this is the. They go to the Earthbending Kingdom, and they find the people that can metal bend.
Mm-hmm.
Who you may remember some people that were metal benders from the first Avatar. So yeah, there's some cool shit that happens. I forgot this is like the Earth Kingdom like season. So yeah, there's some cool shit that going on, metal bending and whatnot. But back into 3, yeah. So like, there's just like bunch of shit going on. Like fucking Kai immediately escapes and steals money from Mako and Bolin, or Mako and Bolin. And they're like stuck in the sheep town, and they actually stumble upon their family, basically.
The lower ring, yeah.
Yeah, their like grandmother, who they were joking about, like when they were leaving to go to Ba Sing Se.
What if I find Gran?
Yeah, he's like, what if I find Grandma and you're not there? And he's like, fine, I'll go. And they literally do exactly that, and it's funny because they look exactly like all.
And his family didn't know that their parents were dead.
Correct. Yeah, because they died in I think a car accident or something like that. Really early on.
I remember him saying they died when we were young, but I don't remember if they went into the details why.
Murder, suicide.
I think it was an accident or something that happened when they got to the city. So it was really tragic, and they were on the streets. But
assassination.
Anyway,
it was Benoit situation.
They were killed by Joe Chill.
So they're meeting their friends. The fucking Dai Li are basically just capturing all the airbenders, basically, and turning them to serve in the fucking army. And then at the North Pole, Zuko and Tonraq go with like Desna and Eska, and are like, we gotta like stop them from getting the fucking firebender who's been in this secret prison in your territory that we haven't told you about.
I love that whenever they went and told Desna and Eska about the secret prison, Desna's response was, "We had a secret prison we could have been throwing people into this whole time. I want to throw my tailor in. He always gets my cuffs wrong."
Yeah, they're just really like, they're not evil, but they're very evil.
I like that they're I like that they're still like the somewhat evil, but like. Not like conquering the world evil, just like they're kind of evil people, like like their attitudes and personalities just are kind of evil, and they're in control of the North Water Tribe still.
So the first thing that immediately happens in chapter 4 is, of course, Zahir free. What's her name? Pali P apostrophe Li.
Tall, Sparky Boom, tall lady.
Yeah, she's a Sparky Boom Boom lady who can do the combustion firebending.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's bad.
I remember where her story goes.
And then Ba Sing Se, like Lin Beifong shows up and is like, you need to fucking go, because the people that wanted to kidnap you as a child, who they said we tortured them, which is interesting that they cop to torturing prisoners.
It was extreme interrogation.
We tried to get the information out of them for like 12 years or however long it was, they said, and they didn't talk. So they actually don't even know why they want Korra, and we don't even know why they wanted Korra. But they're like, no, we got to actually like get these fucking airbenders out of this fucking Dai Li prison beforehand, and fucking, what's her name? Astral projection girl.
Susie Q.
Jinora?
Jinora uses the power of her young preteen horniness to locate Kai. Well, it's literally exactly how it's explained. They're like, well, you have a connection with Kai.
And then Tim's like, what do you mean a connection?
Yeah. Anyway.
Like, they're gonna fuck when they become of age.
My spiritual wits are tingling this direction.
Yeah. So she finds where he's hidden, and they do like a little escape thing, and there's actually some really fucking awesome battles. That's Studio Mirror's fucking fight animation's so fucking good. Like, they're just like them airbending, escaping from the fucking Dai Li, just it's so awesome. Huge fan. And they escape.
Oh, fuck.
That's where we're left. So I guess. Oh no. There's a final thing where Tenzin, where they land when they've gotten away, and is like, all right, who wants to join me and restart the Air Nation? Or if you don't want to do that, we'll find a safe place for you to go live. You know, where you don't have to be taken advantage of. And everyone's like, fuck yeah, let's start the fucking air village, because, you know, they, rather than throwing all the shit on them at first, he was just like, how about we just like make you free? Like, Let's talk about how air people are free first, and then we'll talk about not eating animals later. Which is a weird thing, by the way. Why do they have to be vegan?
Because they're Buddhists.
They're Tibetans.
Yeah. Gotta be light. Have to control the air.
Oh, now I remember the entire plot of this season and why those people exist. I'm reading through the thing now. I'm like, oh yeah. There's some really cool shit that's going to happen.
Yeah.
The story gets real complicated this season.
Yeah.
Spanky, did you watch Cobra Kai season 3 yet?
Yes.
I still think 2 is better, but 3 was good.
I think season 1 of that show was really good. Season 2 is very confusing about who's a good guy and who's a bad guy.
That's the point.
Season 3 continues that trend and wraps up and finally gives you a who's the bad guy, who's aligned with who, right at the end before anything happens. Like, because all the only thing Cobra Kai season 3 did was fix the thing I didn't like about season 2, but give me no actual like climax.
Yep.
And now I remember season 4. I'm looking at season 4. There's the time jump, and I'm just to hit here. One of the things says in the mech's control room, and now I remember why Spanky liked this season so much. Season 4. Yeah. There's some fucking mech action again later in the show. So
yes.
Anyway, oh man, the show is very good. Oh, and the ending is really good too.
Yeah, play us off. I know it's early.
Do do do.
Hey, there it is.
Do do do.
Read the comics.
The website's bornintheeighties.net. You can find previous episodes there. You got John_Danger on the Hell website, twitter.com. Got Matt, got his stuff at matthackmusic.com. I'm TJ, whatever the fuck I am. Spanky works, fucking whatever. Sorry.
Cutwars.com.
TJ wants to go to bed. He's a tired boy.
No, I was sleeping for a little bit when you guys were talking about Star Trek Into Darkness.
Alright, goodbye everyone.
Bye.
Oh, now I'm gonna have to. After this, I'm gonna have to read the fucking Korra comics, I guess.